Have you ever spotted that one guy at the gym hoisting an absurd amount of weight and thought, how on earth is that even possible? What is he eating? We've all been there, man. You see some dude who looks like he was carved out of granite, repping out squats, with what looks like a small car on his back. And you can't help but wonder what his secret is. The reality behind developing real brute strength isn't what most people assume. It's not merely about stacking more plates on the bar each week. It's not about some magic supplement or some crazy diet. It's about working smarter, not just harder. The real secret lies in mastering fundamental compound movements that engage multiple muscle groups simultaneously, pushing your body to its limits and triggering monumental strength gains. And that's what we're diving into today, folks. We're talking about the 7 powerhouse exercises that will ultimately make you stupidly strong. But before we dive in, drop a comment with your name and the city you're tuning in from. Let's see where everybody's tuning in from. We're kicking things off with the king, baby, the squat. I'm talking about the undisputed champion of compound movements. And when I say king, I mean it. The squat is the most fundamental human movement pattern there is. Think about it. You squat down to pick something up. You squat down to sit in a chair. Hell, even our ancestors were squatting like champs around the fire thousands of years ago. Now, the squat is going to work your entire lower body. We're talking quads, hamstrings, glutes, the whole 9 yards. And don't even get me started on the core strength you develop by stabilizing that weight. But here's the thing about squats: form is everything. You can't just load up the bar and start squatting like a madman without risking serious injury. First things first, you've got to make sure your stance is on point. Feet a little wider than shoulder width apart, toes pointed slightly outwards. Now, when you lower yourself down, imagine you're sitting back into a chair. Keep that chest up, core engaged, and back straight as a steel rod. And for the love of all that is holy, don't let those knees cave in. Drive those knees out, keep the weight on your heels, and explode back up to the starting position. Now, there are 1,000,001 squat variations out there. Front squats, back squats, goblet squats, Bulgarian split squats, you name it. Each variation will target your muscles a little differently. But no matter what variation you choose, the key is to master the fundamentals. Once you've got that down, you can start adding weight and watching those gains pile up. All right, let's talk about the pull-up. Now, I'm not talking about those wimpy kipping pull-ups where you're using your whole body to swing yourself up to the bar. I'm talking about a strict controlled pull-up where you're using nothing but your own raw strength to pull yourself up. This is the ultimate test of upper body strength, and it's a movement that everyone should strive to master. The pull-up primarily targets your back muscles, specifically your lats, traps, and rhomboids. But it also works your biceps, shoulders, and even your core. It's a full-body exercise disguised as an upper-body movement. And the best part, all you need is a pull-up bar. No fancy equipment, no gym membership required. Now let's talk about form. Grip the bar with an overhand grip, slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Start from a dead hang with your arms fully extended. Engage your lats and pull yourself up until your chin clears the bar. Hold for a beat at the top, then lower yourself back down with control. If you're new to pull-ups, don't be discouraged if you can't do a full rep right away. Start with assisted pull-ups using a resistance band or an assisted pull-up machine. You can also practice negative pull-ups by jumping up to the top of the movement and slowly lowering yourself down. Consistency is key, and with enough practice, you'll be cranking out pull-ups like a pro in no time. And once you've mastered the standard pull-up, there are endless variations to explore. Chin-ups, wide grip pull-ups, close grip pull-ups, commando pull-ups. The possibilities are endless. Each variation will challenge your muscles in different ways, leading to even greater strength gains. All right, folks, let's talk about a movement that separates the strong from the seriously strong, the overhead press. We're talking about pure, unadulterated pressing power. This is the exercise that builds those cannonball shoulders and that granite slab chest. It's about lifting heavy weight overhead, primal display of strength that's been around since the dawn of man. Now, the overhead press primarily targets your shoulders, specifically your anterior deltoids, lateral deltoids, and triceps. But it also works your upper chest, core, and even your legs to a certain extent. It's a true compound movement that engages multiple muscle groups simultaneously. Now, before you even think about loading up the bar, let's talk about form. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart. Grip the barbell slightly wider than shoulder width, and unrack the bar, bringing it to your upper chest. Take a deep breath, brace your core, and press the weight straight up overhead, extending your arms fully. Lower the weight back down with control, keeping your core engaged throughout the movement. One of the biggest mistakes people make with the overhead press is using too much leg drive. While a slight leg drive is acceptable, you don't want to turn this into a push press. The goal is to isolate the shoulders as much as possible. Keep your core tight, back straight, and avoid arching your lower back excessively. And as always, start with a weight that challenges you but allows you to maintain perfect form. Don't be afraid to ego lift. Focus on progressive overload, gradually increasing the weight or reps over time. Master the overhead press, and you'll not only build impressive upper body strength, but also improve your posture, core stability, and overall athleticism. It's a functional movement that translates to everyday life, whether you're lifting heavy objects overhead or simply trying to improve your posture. Chapter 4. Bent over row, building a back of steel. Alright, let's talk about building a back so strong, so powerful, that it would make a silverback gorilla jealous. We're talking about the bent over row, a fundamental back exercise that's often overlooked but absolutely essential for building a truly strong and balanced physique. The bent over row primarily targets your back muscles, specifically your lats, traps, rhomboids, and rear deltoids. But it also works your biceps, forearms, and even your core. It's a compound movement that engages multiple muscle groups simultaneously. Now, before you even think about yanking that barbell off the floor, let's talk about form. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart. Bend at your hips while maintaining a flat back. Grip the barbell slightly wider than shoulder width apart, ensuring your back is straight and your core is engaged. Pull the barbell towards your lower chest, squeezing your shoulder blades together at the top of the movement. Lower the weight back down with control, maintaining a flat back throughout the movement. One of the biggest mistakes people make with the bent over row is rounding their back. This puts excessive stress on your lower back and can lead to injury. Remember, you want to keep your back flat throughout the entire movement. Think of your back as a tabletop. You want to keep it flat and stable. Another common mistake is using too much momentum and not enough muscle. The goal is to control the weight, not to swing it around. Focus on squeezing your back muscles at the top of the movement and lower the weight slowly and with control. Chapter 5. Farmer's Walk. Unleash your inner beast. You know I love talking about functional strength, the kind of strength that translates to real-world situations. And that's why I'm fired up to talk about the Farmer's Walk. This isn't about looking good in a tank top. It's about building the kind of raw, primal strength that helped our ancestors survive. We're talking about grabbing heavy weights and walking until your grip gives out. The Farmer's Walk is deceptively simple, but don't let that fool you. Pick up some heavy dumbbells or kettlebells, stand up tall and walk. That's it. But within that simplicity lies a world of benefits. We're talking about building a grip of steel, strengthening your core, improving your posture, and increasing your overall work capacity. Now let's talk about why this exercise is so damn effective. First, the grip strength you develop from the Farmer's Walk is crucial for any kind of pulling or lifting movement. Think about it. You need a strong grip to hold onto a barbell, a pull-up bar, or even a heavy grocery bag. Second, the Farmer's Walk is phenomenal for your core. Holding those heavy weights forces your core to work overtime to stabilize your spine and maintain an upright posture. And finally, the Farmer's Walk is a fantastic conditioning tool. It taxes your cardiovascular system and builds mental toughness like you wouldn't believe. Chapter 6. Barbell Bench Press, a true test of strength. Let's talk about the barbell bench press, an exercise so iconic, so ingrained in our collective fitness consciousness, that it's practically a rite of passage for anyone who steps foot in a gym. We're talking about the ultimate test of upper body strength, the one exercise that everyone wants to know. How much you bench. Now, the bench press is more than just a vanity lift. It's a highly effective compound movement that targets your chest muscles, specifically your pectoralis major and minor. But it also works your anterior deltoids, triceps, and even your back muscles to a certain extent. Let's break down the form. Lie down on a flat bench with your feet flat on the floor, slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Grip the barbell slightly wider than shoulder width, ensuring your wrists are straight and your elbows are tucked in. Unrack the bar, lower it slowly to your chest, pause for a beat, and then explosively push the weight back up to the starting position. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make with the bench press is arching their back excessively. While a slight arch is acceptable, you don't want to turn this into a back exercise. Keep your glutes on the bench, your core engaged, and your back flat. Another common mistake is bouncing the bar off your chest. This is not only dangerous, but also robs you of the full benefits of the exercise. Lower the weight slowly and with control. Pause for a beat, and then explosively push it back up. Chapter 7. Deadlift, the ultimate test of full body strength. All right, folks, it's time to talk about the King Kong of all strength building exercises, the deadlift. We're not messing around here. This is about as raw and primal as it gets. We're talking about lifting a heavy-ass weight off the ground, period. It's a true test of full body strength, engaging more muscles than any other exercise out there. Now, the deadlift primarily targets your posterior chain, which includes your hamstrings, glutes, and lower back. But it also works your upper back, traps, forearms, and even your grip strength. It's a full-body workout disguised as a single exercise. Let's talk about form, because with the deadlift, form is everything. Stand with your feet hip-width apart, the barbell over your shoelaces. Bend down and grip the bar slightly wider than shoulder width, with an overhand or mixed grip. Keep your back straight, your core engaged, and your chest up. Take a deep breath and lift the weight off the ground by extending your legs and hips simultaneously. Lower the weight back to the ground with control, reversing the movement. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make with the deadlift is rounding their back. This is a recipe for disaster, folks. Keep your back straight throughout the entire movement. Think of your back as a steel rod. You don't want it to bend. Another common mistake is using too much weight. The deadlift is a technical exercise, and it's important to master the form before you start piling on the plates. Start with a weight that challenges you but allows you to maintain perfect form. Outro: unleash your inner beast. So there you have it, folks. 7 exercises, that's all you need. Master these movements, and I guarantee you'll build superhuman strength. This isn't about vanity. It's about building a body that's as strong as it looks. We're talking about functional strength, the kind of strength that translates to real-world situations. Remember, consistency is key. Don't expect to see results overnight. But if you commit to these exercises, if you put in the work, you will see results. Now get out there, train hard, and unleash your inner beast.
Progressing through plateaus. Before we move forward to exercise number 5, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to correct, science-based information is the edge that will fuel your long-term progress in the world of strength training and bodybuilding. Exercise number 5, military press. Pressing heavy weight overhead is one of the most ancient and fundamental displays of the true strength. And mastering the military press directly translates into explosive power for virtually any sport or real-world task. This powerhouse movement primarily targets the deltoids, especially the anterior and medial heads, while also heavily engaging the trapezius, triceps, serratus anterior, and the core musculature, which must stabilize the spine during the lift. It's precisely this total body demand that makes the military press a true strength builder. Not only does it fortify your shoulders, but it teaches your entire kinetic chain to work in unison, generating vertical force with precision and control. The real magic of the military press lies in its ability to develop structural integrity, meaning stronger joints, tougher tendons, and sharper neuromuscular coordination. Athletes with a dominant military press often exhibit superior shoulder stability, enhanced posture, and a reduced risk of injury, translating into better performance across all explosive movements. Proper military press setup. Stand with your feet about shoulder width apart. Hold the bar at upper chest level, with hands slightly wider than shoulders. Brace your glutes and core hard before initiating the lift. Press the bar vertically, moving your head slightly back to allow a straight bar path. At the top, arms should be fully extended with the bar aligned directly over your shoulders, not forward or backward. Common mistakes to watch for: overarching the lower back to compensate for poor shoulder mobility, neglecting core bracing, letting elbows flare backward instead of slightly forward, using leg drive, turning the movement into a push press, which is a different lift. Exercise number 4, bent over row. Often overlooked in favor of pressing movements, the bent over row is an absolutely essential component of any serious strength program. For every push, there must be a pull, and the bent over row is among the best at developing raw pulling power. This classic compound lift primarily targets the latissimus dorsi, trapezius, rhomboids, and teres major, while also delivering a brutal stimulus to the biceps, forearms, and core stabilizers. The true beauty of the row lies in its ability to progressively overload the entire posterior chain with very heavy resistance. This overload drives not just hypertrophy, but also neural adaptations, teaching your body to recruit more muscle fibers at once, a cornerstone for explosive athletic strength. Proper bent over row setup. Grip the bar with hands about shoulder width apart, using an overhand or mixed grip. Bend your knees slightly and hinge your torso forward at about a 45-degree angle, maintaining a flat, neutral spine. Pull the bar explosively toward your lower abdomen, keeping elbows tight to the body and squeezing your back hard at the top. Lower the bar under control. Don't let gravity win. Mistakes to avoid: using body momentum instead of strict muscle contraction, rounding or excessively arching the back, cutting the range of motion short. The bar should make contact with your abdomen, letting your shoulders collapse forward at the bottom. Pro tip: before pulling with your arms, initiate the movement by retracting and depressing your scapulae, pulling your shoulder blades together and downward to build a strong, stable foundation for each rep. Exercise number 3, dips. Dips, performed on parallel bars, are often considered the gold standard for upper body pushing strength, representing the jump from intermediate to advanced training levels. At first glance, dips seem simple, but when performed with strict form and eventually added resistance, they present an immense challenge even to seasoned athletes. Dips target the pectorals, anterior deltoids, and triceps with laser precision, while also demanding tremendous control from the core and stabilizer muscles. What makes dips so potent is the deep stretch they place on the chest and shoulders at the bottom of the movement, followed by a powerful contraction during the press-up. As a compound movement requiring balance, mobility, and sheer strength, dips build brutally functional pushing power that transfers to nearly every athletic movement and lifts your performance in exercises like the bench press and overhead press. Proper dip setup. Grip the parallel bars firmly and support your body weight with locked-out arms. Slightly lean forward to emphasize chest activation. Lower your body in a controlled manner until your upper arms are at least parallel to the ground, or even slightly below for full range. Explode upward, extending your elbows and squeezing your chest and triceps at the top. Common mistakes: flaring the elbows too wide, stressing the shoulders, cutting the depth short, minimizing muscle activation, swinging the legs for momentum instead of strict control. Dips, a masterclass in upper body strength. The power of dips lies in their ability to intensely target the entire anterior chain, with the lower chest, triceps, and anterior deltoids taking center stage. However, dips don't stop there. They also activate the serratus anterior, core musculature, and the scapular stabilizers. This integration of multiple muscle groups into a single compound movement creates an exceptionally potent stimulus for strength gains. What truly sets dips apart is the fact that, unlike machines that assist and stabilize your movement, dips demand that your own body creates stability as you maneuver your entire weight through a full range of motion. This self-stabilization requirement massively increases muscle fiber recruitment and enhances neuromuscular coordination, turning dips into one of the most efficient bodyweight exercises for building real-world strength. Proper dip execution: position yourself on parallel bars with arms fully extended, maintaining an upright torso and a slight forward lean, about 15 degrees, to better engage the chest. Control the descent by bending the elbows until your shoulders dip just below elbow height, creating roughly a 90 degrees angle. Keep the elbows tucked close to the body. On the ascent, push explosively through the bars until your arms lock out, actively squeezing your triceps at the top. Common mistakes to avoid: incomplete range of motion, swinging the body to generate momentum, elevating the shoulders toward the ears, losing scapular retraction, excessive elbow flare. Pro tip: a controlled eccentric descent phase is critical. Don't just drop. Maintaining control increases time under tension and amplifies strength adaptations. Once you've mastered bodyweight dips, start adding weighted belts or plates between the legs to continue building elite upper body power. Exercise number 2, pull-up. The pull-up stands as one of the purest tests of upper body functional strength. There's something inherently primal about pulling your entire body upward, a survival skill for our ancestors and a standard of excellence today, as seen in elite military physical tests worldwide. What makes the pull-up so devastatingly effective is its compound nature, activating almost the entire posterior upper body in one brutal, efficient motion. The latissimus dorsi leads the charge, but the pull-up also hammers the biceps, brachialis, brachioradialis, rhomboids, middle and lower trapezius, teres major, and the forearm muscles. Proper pull-up execution: grab the bar with an overhand grip slightly wider than shoulder width. Start from a dead hang, with arms fully extended and shoulders actively depressed, pulled down. Initiate the movement by pulling your elbows down and back, not simply curling the arms, driving your chest toward the bar. The rep is complete once your chin clears the bar. Control the descent, resisting gravity instead of falling. Critical tip: before bending your elbows, depress and retract your scapulae. This pre-engagement builds a stronger foundation and maximizes lat engagement from the very start. Common pull-up mistakes: kipping or swinging legs for momentum, partial range of motion, not fully extending or not reaching chin over bar, elevating shoulders toward the ears, failing to keep the core tight and braced. Note: full extension at the bottom is crucial. Don't cheat yourself out of the hypertrophic benefits that come from stretching the lats under load. Exercise number 1, squat. The barbell squat is often called the king of exercises, and that title is well deserved. It targets the quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings with overwhelming intensity, but also deeply engages the adductors, abductors, spinal erectors, core stabilizers, and even upper body musculature, working isometrically to stabilize the barbell. This colossal muscle recruitment not only builds serious lower body strength, but also triggers powerful anabolic hormone production, creating a system-wide environment for muscle and strength development far beyond just your legs. What makes the squat especially effective is its ability to support extremely heavy loads while keeping the body in a biomechanically safe position when performed correctly. The high mechanical tension across large muscle groups forces the body to adapt, becoming stronger, tougher, and more resilient. Proper squat execution. Position the barbell securely across your upper traps, high bar, or slightly lower across your rear delts, low bar. Stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, toes turned slightly outward. Initiate the movement by braking at the hips and knees simultaneously. Descend under control until your hips are below parallel, below knee level. Drive upward through your heels, keeping your chest tall and knees aligned with your toes. Common squat mistakes: failing to achieve proper depth, letting the knees cave inward, valgus collapse, lifting the heels off the ground, excessively leaning the chest forward, hyperextending or overarching the lumbar spine. Pro tip: depth, control, and posture matter more than the weight you lift. Prioritize technique, and the heavy loads will come naturally. Final warning: protect your hormones. One final and crucial piece of advice: you will struggle to build real strength if your hormonal profile, especially your testosterone levels, is compromised. Unfortunately, modern lifestyles are riddled with hidden habits that silently sabotage male hormone production. If you want to discover the 10 most common mistakes that destroy testosterone and how to avoid them, check out the video that's now appearing on your screen. Thank you for staying with us until the end. And may God bless you, my friend. Stay strong and stay committed. Your best self is just one disciplined day closer.